Hey, I think I woke somebody up. Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific. They call me Chris of the Northwest, and we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're arguing with the family about what to do on the long weekend, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Maybe a mystery what you're doing, but there's no mystery tonight. We're talking about mystery caches. Live audience, we want to hear from you. So start that chat engine running, and there we go. But first, of course, it's time to bring in our mysterious macaque. Some say, as a general rule, he should never answer first. And others say he tried to combine a kissing booth and a petting zoo. The kissing zoo was a disaster. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
I think disaster is a relative term. I mean,
have you met my relatives?
Exactly.
Okay.
Did they enjoy the kissing zoo? They seemed like they did. All right.
I mean, I've got an aunt that, never mind. We won't talk about her.
Expired.
Good to see you guys. How we doing tonight?
I'm good. It's good to be seen.
It's even better to be obscene.
Oh, well, there you go.
All right.
There's Gas Station Tuna in the chat. He was on the show last week.
I know him. He, those puzzles he was talking, but those puzzles he was talking about, he sent the link to those, and I was enjoying taking a look at those. It's a fun set of puzzles. So in this episode, we're going to talk about puzzles, and it'll be some great. What do you want to say? What do I want to say? It'll be some great primers if you want to tackle some of GST's puzzles or anybody else's. So there you go. And yes,
can we use primer cord.
Yes, one would.
Okay.
UDAC saying good job last week to Gas Station Tuna, and absolutely, it was a great job last week. All right. Hey, before we get going on anything else here, though, it is our opportunity to have a quick reminder that we support the appreciation of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. Thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate and Nolly level sponsors. Reminder, there are currently new hours at the Shark store as they adjust to some staffing changes. The store hours are changed to Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, no longer open on Saturdays for now. But, keep your eyes peeled. Check it out. Check it all out at Landsharks, LANDSHARKZ.ca. And our other corporate Denali level sponsor, well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Gold Country Geotourism. Visit exploregoldcountry.com to learn more about the geotours and the region. Don't forget to download the app and plan your visit to Gold Country today. Beautiful place to spend September, October, November. Just get up there and enjoy it. All right. And folks, let me just tell you that if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, well, go ahead and click on that Patreon link on the cachingandw.com a website.
Land Monkey, you seem a little tired tonight. Either you've had one too many beers or one too few coffees.
I'm covering one too many jobs at work.
That'll do it. Okay. Well, another job that we like to cover here are the glows. Now, it has been asked, what is a glow?
It'll probably be asked again.
Yeah, it probably will be. Well, a glow is the geocaching log of the week. So whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You can send an email or a recording from that fancy phone of yours to feedback@cachingandw.com. You can also call into 253-693-TFTC and show us how you glow. I just want to let everybody to know. Yeah, no, that's not how you properly English, but that's what came out.
You got to just roll with it, man.
I know. I should. If I had never said anything, people wouldn't have noticed. That doesn't ring my cell phone anymore. I figured it all out. For some reason, I think there was a voice update, the Google Voice app update that, reset all my settings. So now you can call, you can leave a message in peace, not fearing that I may pick up the phone, not knowing what number was ringing in, and answer the call. That's not going to happen now. So, if you wanted that opportunity, you've missed it. Or just leave me your number and I'll call you back.
There you go.
Because I'm that kind of a guy.
He's been known to return calls once in a blue moon. You just never know.
Well, once in a blue moon was yesterday.
That's right. And a big old pretty moon it was.
Oh man, it's so bright it casts shadows. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, pretty cool.
When you can go out and read a book at night.
Yeah, it's like, you're reading by the glow of the moon.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Speaking of glows, let's see. 40 and 8 found 3 Fingers Lookout. That's GC Kilo Bravo 5 Golf, don't you know? And, well, they waxed poetic about the experience. So let's see if I can do this one justice. Woke up early and piled in the car. There's a drive ahead that's almost too far. 3 Fingers Lookout, here I come. Time for the Triple M to have some fun. At the trailhead, OBE is there. Rocket and Jaded, as always, a pair. Plus some newbies along for the trip, headed up to the top of 3 Fingers Tip. The trail below is quite a sight. Hard to not slip, try as I might. Soon we break out into the sun and climb up to Goat Flat, but we've just begun. Now comes the fun part, glaciers and rock. Views are popping, but they're not going to stop. Up down the ridge and then up some ice. That view at the top had better be nice. Okay, now the ladders. They creak a lot, but I'm not hiking this far to stop at this spot. The climb up is wild, snapping pics as we go. The glacier and rock are waiting below. At the lookout, wow, what a sight to behold. Views all around, ridges big and mountains bold. Too soon we go down the ladders to snow, and glissade on our butts to the sharp rocks below. Then the long walk out, we're quiet, not talking. I think everyone's tired from a full day of walking. Back to the cars, which we greet with a cheer. Now Rocket Biker, bless him, breaks out the beer. Mid-mountain mountaineers, it's my kind of crew. I'll spend the day in the mountains anytime with you. Until next time, my friends, give the Triple M a shout. This really is what hiking's all about.
Well,
Nice.
That sounds like a great adventure. Now I'm gonna
Certainly does.
That GC code and check this out.
Geocaches says, "Oh my gosh, this glows fantastic already."
Indeed.
That was a fun one.
That was fun. Well done, and thanks for sending that in. That was, and thanks for reading it, Jim.
It's what I do.
You have very good timing, Jim. You can read that well. And I just admire anybody who can write in rhyme. That's,
It's pretty impressive.
me. But other people, it just flows.
It's not a skill I possess.
No.
Jim, you must be accustomed to reading good poetry.
I can read good poetry. I get a lot of it in the house, but it's not from my penmanship, not from my creativity.
Exactly.
That seems like it's a mystery. But tonight we're going to talk about mysteries. You want to add into tonight's chat, use the hashtag mystery or the mystery hashtag, however you want to look at that one. We'll add that topic into tonight's show. Of course, you can use the hashtag FATAS to bring up anything you'd like in the after show. It doesn't have to be a mystery. You could just be bold and say what you want to say in the after show. Of course, we have the dueling hashtags of podcast baking and podcast drinking to let us know what you're chewing and sipping on this evening.
Very good. Hey, before we get into some news, I'm keeping an eye on the chat here tonight. We've got dueling lackeys in the chat.
I see that, yeah.
As well. So just as a lesson here for everybody else who's watching, either recorded afterwards or watching live, Geocaches tells us live she just submitted a potential future glow by her fellow lackey JT Coffee. Thank you very much, Geocaches. And thanks for writing the log that we look forward to reading.
Yeah.
There
All
you
right.
go.
That
Thank
was
you
fun.
so much. We'll have to go check that out. Maybe it will show up next week.
You
Maybe.
never
Or
know.
we could just stop the show right now and go read it and then tell people what we think. We can do Caching in the Northwest Reacts,
Oh, there you go.
new video series. There you go.
Cold read all the logs. We'd probably end up with something like Soapy Boy once again.
Undoubtedly.
And that's not good for anyone.
No, it's not.
No.
Well, let's see. News this week from the geocaching blog. Ready for the final challenge? And it's all in everybody's head now. Earworm.
It's time for the final challenge.
They spun the wheel again and chose the final challenge. It's all about teamwork makes the dream work. This challenge is celebrating the community connections and teamwork, well, that make geocaching so doggone special. You earn points for finding and logging caches, as you do. But September 4th to October 1st, this last period, the geocaching is highlighting the teamwork and community building of event caches by offering extra points for finding and logging event caches and CETO events. To shine a light on the community spirit of all the cache hiders who create geocaches for the community, geocaching is also offering extra points for finding highly favorited caches and receiving favorite points on owned caches.
Nice.
So big points. Tell us all about the big points this time.
Well, there's big points on this one. What I'm really curious about is they spun the wheel, was it 6 times, 8 times, and never got a duplicate.
Right?
I mean,
what an amazing
how
spinner.
lucky are they? Yeah. Anyway, this is a leader point board challenge. So the points are as follows. Attend an event anytime, any event. That's 75 points. That seems like a lot of points.
It does.
A CETO event, which is also an event, 75 points. If you find a cache with 10 or more favorite points, there's 50 points. And here's the kicker, that certain people will never have to leave their comfortable chair and they'll get all the souvenirs. You can receive a favorite point on one of your caches. That's worth 50 points. Yeah. A regular old found it log, those that we do all the time, that's 25 points.
Except for Adventure Lab locations. Interesting. That's excluded this time.
Adventure Labs this time.
Yeah. So I want to make sure I understand this. So it is, you get a point for everybody on your leaderboard who does these same things. So your leaderboard has 10 people in it?
I don't think so. Doesn't your leaderboard have more than 10? You can expand it. These are leaderboard points. So the easy souvenir you can get by getting 100 individual points on your leaderboard.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the points that you receive for attending events or finding caches.
Okay. So it's okay, but the whole teamwork makes the dream work thing made me think that
that's the events part
that
of it.
you're getting points from you're collectively everybody working together to get the points. That's why I was confused. All right. So
they're just celebrating community.
You should really just remove everybody else from your leaderboard and just track your own points and just who cares what anybody else does.
Right. That's the community aspect they're looking for.
Or you compete with everybody else. As gas station 2 and say, the leaderboard will tell you what you have in bragging rights. So you just compete with everybody else. And it's really, it's less about community and more about competition.
Well, for some of us.
If there's no community, you have no one to compete with.
Oh, interesting. I was just trying to find the dark underbelly of it. That's all.
The dark underbelly is the hard souvenir this time. You have to get that by earning 1,000 individual points on your leaderboard. And Land Monkey, just for you, will make everything worth just 1 point.
All right. So it's going to take me an extra week. Okay.
Yeah.
Take you
Except
2
for all
weekends.
the 50-point hits you get from people favoriting your caches.
Mhm.
You could get
Well, you know
halfway
what?
there without ever leaving home.
With all my teasing aside, really keep Rock Chalk on my leaderboard. Yeah. All teasing aside, though, I mean, it's a good opportunity if you were thinking of placing some caches. Now would be a good time if
Yeah.
you're going to place some, fun cache that you had an idea. And 50 points every time somebody finds it and gives it a fave.
Yeah.
That'll add up fast. Two favorite points, and you've got the easy souvenir.
Right.
Exactly.
20,
Exactly.
and you've got the hard.
Breiling is working on a plan to complete the hard challenge with only highly favorited caches, those with 10 or more favorite points. Just need 20 of those on one day, and that's what he's planning on doing.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Komokino says, caching is a hobby, not a game for me.
Oh, there you go.
I can relate to that.
It's a blood sport for me.
Yeah, that's right.
I donate a lot of blood when I go caching.
I was going to say, yeah. Blood, not from the competition, but just from the experience of
Just from
bushwhack.
the blackberries.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Sagebrush.
But
Goat hits.
before we
Goat
leave
hits
this,
here.
September 4th through
Yep.
October 1st.
That's the last run at it, eh?
That's
Yep.
Yep.
After
Starting
that,
with
there's
Killer
no
Monday.
more souvenirs ever. This is
And
the last chance to get any
that's right,
souvenirs.
ever. Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, and there was other news I forgot about. Startcatcher says if you hide a cache and get 4 favorite points on it, you might get a virtual cache to place early next year.
Right.
I did hear something
Ooh.
about
Good
that
point,
too.
Stark. So now, this month is the time. September is the time to place quality caches.
Hmm.
You'll get
Bingo.
optimal rewarding, more so than you would have thought you would have gotten on any other circumstance.
Place quality caches as Gas Station Tuna says, host an event.
Indeed.
Mhm.
So
Host an event, host a CETO, and place
Mhm.
quality caches.
I'm looking to host a CETO. Yes.
And then just sit back and watch the points roll in, baby.
Well, if you attend a CETO, you get 50 points and you get the CETO season souvenir.
True. Look at the souvenirs rolling in. And like I said, this is your last chance to get any souvenirs from HQ. After October, that's it. They're gone. No more souvenirs. They're even gonna take them all off your digital souvenir board. That's it.
okay.
They've decided they're done with souvenirs.
Okay,
Okay.
well, Land Monkey's in some sort of funk tonight, and that's not true. So we're just going to move on there.
I'm trying to incite panic for people to get out and get these souvenirs.
You know, they've already talked about the year-end souvenir that they're going to give you on December 31st. So
Cake is a lie.
Oh, well, there are many mysteries to be solved, and tonight we may help you solve a few.
We just might. You never know. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow geocachers, gather around for an exciting discussion about one of the most intriguing aspects of our beloved hobby, mystery geocaches. We are here to shed some light on those enigmatic hides and share techniques that will have you cracking codes, solving puzzles, and unraveling mysteries like the true geocaching pros you are. And remember, the joy of mystery geocaches isn't just in finding the cache, but in the thrill of deciphering the puzzle. It's about the mental journey as much as the physical one. So, my fellow geocachers, embrace the challenge. Engage your brain power and unlock the treasures hidden within these mystery caches. Until next time, happy caching and happy puzzling.
Well
Sounds like we
done.
wrapped up there. Done. See ya.
Yep.
Okay,
That's
good night.
been a great show. Thanks, folks.
Well, it started to rain here this week. You know, we haven't, it's been, I don't know, it seems like 60 plus days without rain. That's probably not true. It probably rained once in there, but it got me thinking of, maybe it's time to start looking at these mystery caches that are around me, to sit down on a rainy day and figure this out. So mystery caches, also known as puzzle caches, they're interchangeable, those names. They add a layer of intellectual challenge to your adventure. So instead of just following coordinates to the cache, you'll need to solve the puzzles or the clues to unveil the final location. Again, we're in that final with another word after it. It incites music in some heads, and I'm just going to go on. These caches come in all variety of forms, from riddles and ciphers to complex codes and historical references. They're like little treasure hunts for your brain. Now, how do you tackle these cerebral conundrums? Let me give you some techniques that'll have you mastering the mystery caches in no time at all.
There's songs going through there. Yeah, the song in my head is "Rainy Days and Puzzles Always Get Me Down."
Oh, yeah.
That's the song you were talking about, right?
All right. I am totally lost in the show notes. Where are we?
Well, let's talk about examining the source material.
Okay. Thank you.
In fact, Land Monkey, have you ever examined source material?
We're talking about puzzle caches still, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, we could have been talking about earth caches.
Yeah,
I didn't
very
have to have my
similar.
mind in the gutter, but I usually do.
This step is similar to an earth cache.
It is indeed. All right. So examining source material. This is one of my favorite things, and I know our caching friend Dora Moore always encourages us as the first thing to do is check the background. Do a Control A on the cache.
Well, that's a little farther down. Don't jump in the show
Okay.
notes. Yeah.
But so I am jumping ahead a bit, but start by reading the cache page the whole way through. And you know what? There was a puzzle cache I saw recently. It wasn't one of Gas Station Tuna's, although I've been having fun reading through those and starting to think about solving those ones, which is amazing. I'll just say GST, I never solve puzzles. Mrs. Monkey is always a puzzle solver, but I've been taking a look at the links and thinking these are fun. So I was going to give them a go. But anyhow, one of the things, and there was a new puzzle cache fairly recently in 100-kilometer radius of where I live that was published. And I started reading through the description. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to read this whole thing. So I started skipping through it. And I'm like, oh, but this thing, read the cache page all the way through. Take note of anything that stands out. It means focusing on whatever you think stands out, what pops to your eyes, your reticular activation. And sometimes it's a red herring, but you got to start somewhere. So you may as well start with what your brain is drawn to. It can include the title, any photos, odd or out of place phrases or sentences, or weird punctuation, perhaps a poem, blank spaces, code ciphers, any numbers on the page, background images in the gallery uploaded by the CO, unusual font sizes. There's something that, like, when you're looking at this, like, that doesn't look like everything else, or that doesn't look like a normal cache page.
Yeah.
Take the thing that stands out the most and start digging into that. So often that can be a way to examine the source material and get yourself rolling on a puzzle solve.
That's right. Apparently the show notes are encoded, or we just encoded Land Monkey's version of the show notes.
GSM times 2. I really appreciate the support there. No, I was just having a hard time following the density of the show notes, and I just got lost.
You are my density. Start Cacher says, I've hidden 145 geocaches, but placed my first 2 mystery puzzle caches in July of this year.
Congrats.
Maybe they'll get some favorite points this month of September.
Indeed.
Oh, yes. Hey, after you've read the entire cache page, maybe seen something out of place, don't be afraid to use the hint. Right? Especially with mystery caches, the hint can nudge you in the right direction without giving away the answer. Right? So maybe it has an odd word that you go to Google and you go, oh, that's a type of cipher. I should know what this is. Or maybe it's the type of puzzle they've used. So there are all sorts of things in there that thank you. Who you calling dense? Use the hint. There's no shame in that. It's there for a reason.
That's
Indeed.
right.
I mean, unless that's your personal challenge,
Well,
It could
I
be.
know some cachers that will never look at a hint for, like, say, a traditional cache,
Yeah.
right? While they're out there. No, no, no. That's only when I can't find it. I look at the hint.
There's another good tip from GST.
Yeah.
It says, don't be afraid to read past logs,
Past
because
logs. Yeah.
some of us, when we submit our log on a puzzle
Mhm.
cache, we like to just put something into the log that might help you solve the puzzle.
Little
Right.
nudge there. Yeah.
Yeah. I spent hours looking at this until I suddenly saw this grammatical thing. Like, wait,
Well,
what?
that would be a real giveaway. As the
That might be
CEO, I
too
probably
much,
wouldn't
right?
appreciate that, but
Until I saw this odd pattern.
there you go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and patterns can happen in numbers. Pattern can happen in letters. Land Monkey mentioned font sizes, all kind of things. Look for, well, the most common letter in English is E. A lot of common double letters. Motel. That's how
Mhm.
common things are, right? MOTEL. Those are all common double letters. Try to work something out with that, or just remember that puzzles, well, they're designed to challenge your assumptions. So think outside the box. If something is drawing your attention, maybe that's the right way to go, but maybe it's not. Try a different perspective. Turn your laptop upside down and read it upside. I don't know.
I think something you just said might have slipped by in the video and audio version of this podcast. You mentioned motel, and I don't know if people got the fact that that is the combination of the most popular or the most common double
Mhm.
letters in the English language spell motel. They're
Yeah.
MOTE and L. So
Or you just like Elmo T.
oh,
Elmo tea.
you Elmote.
Yes.
What
That's when
does
you're
Elmo
sharing
like to
emotions
drink?
like this.
Yeah.
What's a Muppet's favorite drink? Elmo tea.
I
Hmm.
don't want to know what that's made from, but okay.
Okay, that didn't work out well. Let's go on.
Moving right along.
Land Monkey, we're
Yeah.
at the next section of show notes.
Deciphering codes and ciphers.
Yes.
Okay. Spoiler, we're going to talk about deciphering codes and ciphers. All right. Hey, folks, but codes and ciphers often puzzle caches are going to leverage codes and ciphers. And there's all kinds of different ones. And there's some fantastic websites out there that'll give you a bit of a leg up on it. But, if you're familiar with some of the common codes and ciphers, you don't need to be able to decode them at a glance, but you can look at something and go, oh, that could actually be this. Morse code, a Caesarean
Mhm.
cipher, alphanumeric conversions. Morse code is one that I've often seen done in different
Yeah.
ways in puzzles. People will use different characters to represent the dots and dashes.
Mhm.
And so if you just see, you might not be able to read it at a glance, but you're like, oh, hold on, this looks like.
I've seen it with capitals
Yeah.
and small
Yeah.
letters.
There you
Right?
go.
You look at
That's
it and you
clever.
go, why did they use capitals? All that. Maybe a Caesar cipher. I don't know about the childbirth cipher.
Well,
you
the
mentioned.
Caesarean cipher is when you go out the window.
Okay.
A2 Brute. All right.
Any salad can be a Caesar salad if you stab it enough.
Yeah. Online code breaking tools, as we said, can be a lifesaver. And Gas Station Tuna, once again, says the Geocache Toolkit app is
Yes.
great for different ciphers. And it is. That's a great tool to have at your disposal. Some other ciphers that you start to recognize when you see them. Bacon cipher. As soon as you see things that look like they're sizzling and popping, then that's probably a
Kevin.
bacon cipher. Yeah. If it's 6 degrees from something else, then it's probably a bacon cipher.
Mm-hmm.
Color codes. Oh, that's an interesting one, like RGB color codes and
Yeah,
some of
Or
stuff.
resistor color codes.
Oh, yes.
that
Yeah.
could be.
But yeah, so you get familiar with these things, you start to see them, and again, it becomes that recognition, right? Your brain. We were talking about this a couple episodes ago, but your brain sees it and it's like, oh, I've been wired for this once before. We should look into this.
Or I've been burned by that once before.
That would be
Yes,
the bacon
exactly.
cipher.
Okay. Don't burn the bacon.
No, never.
And yes, thank you, CRS 98.
CRS 98's reading the show notes.
Yeah, so the CO can put the name of the cipher in the title or on the page to give you a starting point. You know, I've seen ciphers using the bacon or caches that use the bacon cipher where it'll be something like, you know, pigs are yummy or something like that is the name of the cache. And like, oh, that's kind of weird. That has nothing to do with what's written in here, but
And we're not talking about the meat. We're talking about more Sir Francis who
yes.
came up with this.
Well, I mean, yes, that's where the cipher actually came from. But you know, as soon as you say bacon, we just think about Stark Casher. So
That's true.
one last thing on this codes and ciphers. People, my show notes say people also really like math. I would debate that, but anyways, coordinates can be hidden using things like pi, Fibonacci numbers, base conversions, prime numbers,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of mathematical equations.
Like Limax would do.
Like Limax would do. Some of us hate random strings of numbers, but some people love them. And I
Yeah.
guess technically they're not random, but they look random.
But they look random, right? It's tough to.
There's a certain
find some of
subset of people that really like math, and I think they're referring to puzzle cache hiders.
Mhm.
Here's another good one from Doramore. When we're talking about checking the puzzle name, check the
Mm.
CO's name.
Ah,
If there's a cache all of a sudden published in your neck of the woods, and it's a puzzle cache, and the name of the CO is unfamiliar to you, well, click on the name, see if it's a real person, or if not, Google the name. Could be a clue. Great tip. Doramore.
That's true. And that's something we get into. Well, that's part of the source material, right? Of what's going on. Komakino's hungry now because we're talking about pie and bacon.
fair enough.
Mission accomplished.
IHAM says one of the Bleckley Park ones I did used a one-time pad that was encoded in the background image.
Hmm.
We can talk about that a little later, but a one-time pad is source material where then you use a series of numbers to say, like, go to page 32, line 4, word 8. And that's what you're looking for.
Huh. So shadow passes over the house of Pass and Stowe.
A pass and snow. Yes.
Yeah.
Geocache says math immediately. No.
Immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just no, but immediately no.
Big thumbs up to that.
This is where you leverage the community of geocaching this month and phone a friend.
Yes.
Work puzzles as a team.
Doramore says no math after 3 p.m. is the rule. I like that.
She's
the math,
morning mystery.
the math stops and the beer begins.
Sometimes you have to use trial and error, right? Just keep trying. If you don't know what type of cipher this is, just try a bunch and see if anything comes out. That's also where some of those solving websites will help you. Is it rot 13? Is it rot? Well, rot 26 wouldn't work. Is it rot 13, 14, 15?
A to A and B to B. I'll never get this.
I love rot 26. I can just get right off. It's just one of those codes I get.
Yeah, multisolver.de is a website.
That sounds very German.
One of those websites, yeah. Ja, Deutschland.
So it tries a large number of codes all at one time.
Wow.
The trial and error, I refer to that as the brute force method. Just try everything until something sticks.
And it may not give you the direct answer, but you may start to see a pattern develop out of that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Like, boy, that looks close to a word. Let's keep trying.
I see patterns in the bald spots as I'm pulling out my hair,
Mhm.
Because I don't know how to practice patience, which you should. Puzzles can be challenging and time consuming. Take a break. You only have so much hair on your head. Come back with fresh eyes or, don't get discouraged. This is supposed to be fun, remember?
That's right.
Puzzles are fun.
Yes.
They can be. If they involve math, apparently not.
Yeah, but like a lot of things, the more you do, sometimes the easier they get. you'll pick up techniques along the way. You'll recognize things like we said. Oh, I've been burned by this one before. I know where to start with this. So every time you solve a puzzle, it's a learning opportunity, and muscle memory just gets a little stronger every time.
Exactly. Now, we've had several people mention it in the chat, that look at the source code, right? So first thing to do is do a Control A or highlight the entire web page on your computer or phone, because there could be, white text on a white background, where when you highlight it, guess what? That pops out. So some of those odd blank spaces that you think, why are there like 3 or 4 lines between these paragraphs? Oh, that's because there's something there that you're not supposed to see, or you're supposed to find.
Yeah.
And also look for the source code. Somebody mentioned doing a Control U. Use one of my favorite letters. So that's, one of the ones I like to go to first. Maybe different on your browser, could be different on your phone. I know in Cashly, excuse me, it's got an option for text, web, and source. So on each description, you can look at the source right there on your phone. So
Good tip.
yeah, there's different ways to do it. Look at the source. You want to look for the tag user supplied content. That's where on the page you can edit. That's where the edit box is on the geocaching page, right? So you've got a whole long thing in your source code. You're just looking for that user supplied content because it's the only place they can type.
Right.
UDAC is
That's why
also
I like
part of the
UDAC.
favorite letter. Yeah.
Funny. All right. So yeah, that takes us to we talked a little bit earlier about pattern recognition in the sense of just looking at the what is obviously in front of us on the cache page, but some other things, and there's things that you get to recognize about the caches in your area as a cacher. You'll note that there's a pattern that the coordinates in your wherever you are create. Where I happen to be, it's always 15 numbers. So I know when I'm solving a puzzle, I'm looking for 15 numbers. I also know as long as it's a relatively new puzzle, if it's a really, really old puzzle, like a 2002 puzzle, it may not comply with these current guidelines, but puzzles need to be 2 kilometers, or the icon needs to be 2 kilometers from the hide. So that your north and west degrees are most likely going to be the same. So you kind of know what you're looking for there. So then you're starting to get into minutes and decimal minutes. But again, like I said, that it's the degrees, decimal minutes format generally. Some puzzles are trickier, but generally that's what you're looking for. Can be some combination of 15 or 14 numbers, or maybe they'll just assume that you're going to know what the degrees are, so they'll just give you the minutes and decimal minutes. So now you're looking for 10 numbers, or even just 6 numbers if you're just looking for the decimal minutes. So there's different patterns you can look for. Yeah, sometimes people are mean and they put them in UTM or some other format.
But yeah, just remember there are 15 numbers in a typical geocache coordinate. 15 to 14,
where you are in the
14 or 15, right? Yeah, it depends. All computers are going to use a 0 if it's 3 digits. If it's a 3-digit, come on, not latitude, longitude. If it's a 3-digit longitude, I got it out. It took me a while. Computers will stick a 0 in there. The cache owner may not. He may use a 2-digit one. So just know that, depending on where you are, you're looking for 13 or 14, or 10 or 6. So once you know what your local coordinates look like, for me, if I'm looking at one, I'm seeing North 47, West 122, right? If I can find those numbers worked out somewhere, I know I've got it,
Hmm.
right? So if I'm
47.
looking at a cache page and, it's using an alphabetic code and I see D and G, I know that's 4 and 7. That's the 4th and 7th letter of the alphabet. Aha, I've got this code.
47 degrees north. You're so cute how far south you are.
I know. Isn't it cute? What are you at?
49.
Okay. It's okay. So
That's where the parallel is. That's where the border is.
that's true.
I'm at 46.
Wow, are you really?
46,
degree further south?
119. Mm-hmm.
And I
Cool, man.
remember when I was 46.
Limax is 37.
Wow. You're getting further and further south of her.
That's right. A digital route is another way. If you're presented with the number, say 22 or 20, know that 2 plus 2 equals 4, and 2 plus 3 equals 5, or 2 plus 5 equals 7, whatever you're looking at for digital route. So it may be 22, 27, or 25, I mean, and getting to that 47 number. Again, people like to play with numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a laugh now. Everybody's posting where their north and west coordinates are. That's awesome. I love it. It's cool to see, to get that sense of like as the host. So I'm just going to rabbit trail for a moment here, but as the host of the podcast, I mean, we know you guys who are live listening cover a pretty wide region, but it's really cool for us to see you guys posting like, oh, this is what our coordinates are, north and our west coordinates, or north and east coordinates are. It's kind of neat for us to see that. So thank you for doing that.
There you go. Look at that. I am says, just remember that 60% of the Canadian population lives farther south than Seattle.
It's true.
Yeah, but they're in Ontario and I don't count them.
And I agree with CRS 98. Everybody is northwest of somewhere.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to the emails from people in Ontario that we should be getting now.
That you will be getting.
Yeah, I'll read them on the next podcast. I dare you.
See what else I got in the chat there.
I spotted a puzzle near me today that was based on microbrews. I haven't been able to figure out how to get the digits yet.
That was sure fun and good in the research, though.
Yeah, you got to do more research on that one.
Interesting.
He mentioned earlier, that the Bay Area has some very difficult puzzles, right? There's a lot of software engineers that deal with numbers and problems all day. I know there were some, you had to compile your own code to run this program to get the answer. Just things like that. Those aren't normal. Let's just start off with that. Okay.
So it's abnormal.
That's right.
It's Abby someone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if you're still stumped, we mentioned things. You can read the hints, you can read the logs, and you can go with puzzle solving tools. The number one, easiest, quickest, best puzzle solving tool, it's Google. Start throwing stuff
I never
at Google.
thought of that.
LMGGFY.com for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can do reverse image searches too with Google.
Mm-hmm.
That can a lot of help. And if you see and you Google that, you might find things that'll point you in that direction. I think that's how you help me out with that pronunciation.
No, I think you nailed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Okay.
I'd like to buy a vowel though.
Would you like a movement?
I wasn't sure if you typed that or if you just had a seizure this afternoon when preparing this.
He got frustrated with this topic and banged his head on the
I was
keyboard.
gonna say maybe dropped your burrito or something. You can Google cipher with pairs of letters. It helps.
Indeed.
Google's good to find things.
Yeah. I think we saw a little bit of conversation. I think it was.
There's something about steganography somewhere.
Yeah, was it Doug? I can't remember who made it. Somebody made a comment about steganography, but yeah, learning how to read pictures. So there's all kinds of different things. There's definitely like getting super complex, like steganography, where codes are actually embedded in the picture itself.
Yeah.
But sometimes, there's there's codes that are associated with images. Like when you take a picture with a digital camera, it actually associates, or it tags a whole bunch of there you go, thank you, just Carlo, the EXIF data. I was desperately trying to remember that term as I was going, but yes, the EXIF data on the photos. There are tools that you can use that'll actually strip that data out, and sometimes folks will either manipulate that data or they'll use the data that's in the EXIF to provide coordinates there. So
exactly, you can edit EXIF data.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Sorry, I saw this earlier and now I lost it.
Was that
From Komakino, he says there's a whole series in North Seattle which you have to look at a picture in the gallery to get the final coordinates. Right, so pictures.
Yeah.
There you
Learn,
go.
yeah, sometimes pictures, they could a cache owner can put in a picture very small, right, that has incredibly small text on it, or the picture itself is small and it's just hiding in the gallery, and that's going to give you the hint you need.
Absolutely.
We have a hider in our area that is very skilled at image manipulation and has done things like, do you remember the old Mad magazine where you would fold the back cover in a certain way and get a different message?
Yes, love
Yes,
those.
done things like that.
From the usual gang of idiots.
Yes.
What, me worry?
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you. Other ones where it was just a series of points, but if you overlaid that on the proper map, it highlighted things and you found out what was missing, and that gave you, the way to start looking for this. So
Yeah.
very interesting.
Very cool. Well, folks are already jumping to our next topic, which is, I think the next topic here is collaborating with others. And there's
Yes.
been a lot of conversation about collaborating with others.
Seems appropriate for this month's challenge.
Indeed, right? Yeah, Dora Moore says pre-COVID, she had started hosting Puzzlers Anonymous meetings and is hoping to get them going again after she gets back from her travels next month. Well, enjoy your travels. Kitty Quest actually attended a puzzle night event earlier this evening. Wow, that's good timing. Dora Moore is in a group that meets regularly in a video chat. Say hi to everybody for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely some talk there. Oh, and Carlo's now been inspired. Look forward to a Mad magazine puzzle from Just Carlo. There you go. And GST says social media, he's seen chords hidden in specific Twitter pages. Now that's different.
Wow.
Interesting. All right.
There you go. Starcacher says there's an old mystery cache in Toledo where the original solve was no longer available, but there was a picture in the gallery that had the XF, had the chords in the XF data.
Yeah.
There you go.
What else we got?
The chat's going so fast, I'm having trouble keeping.
Right.
But so I know in my area, in the wintertime, there you go. Limax has collaborated with Dora Moore on a few puzzles, and they don't live in the same area.
Not at all.
Right. So you can reach out to well-known puzzlers and say, hey, can you help me with this? Do you have just a nudge where they have said, oh yeah, this one got me before. Here, try this.
Yeah, your geo friends don't have to be local.
Exactly.
That's good. I finally found it. Starcacher contributed earlier after several solve attempts, asking for a hint at an event or asking a geo friend like Limax and Dormore did, who had previously found his next step. Next is a hint from the most recent finder. That's another thing for reading the logs. And then finally, just ask the CO. Oftentimes they'll be happy to give you a nudge.
Yeah.
Right.
Most CEOs want their caches, their puzzles to be solved and their caches to be found. Most.
Right.
Not all, but most.
They put them out there to be found. So, if they can get a find on it, yeah. there was one I just couldn't figure out how to get started. And I went and asked a friend. They said, here's the coordinates. Well, that's not what I was asking for.
Well, and there's a tip for you. When you ask for help, be specific what you're looking
Yeah.
for.
Can you
Because
just
some
give
people
me
think that's really helpful and friendly. Oh, here, I'll just help. No, I really want to work on this. Just kind of give me a nudge. I usually will reply when somebody asks for help with a cache or a puzzle, or just just okay. Do you want just a gentle nudge, or do you want just a blatant, or do you want me to go out there and point at it for you? I mean,
right?
let me know how much help you want.
Yeah, because that changes person to person. Is the thrill solving the puzzle,
Right.
or is the thrill finding the cache?
Yeah.
For some people, they don't want to worry about solving the puzzle. They just want to go get the smiley.
Yeah.
So you can engage with the community. There are cache solving events, right?
Mhm.
Puzzle solving events. Sometimes it's just focused on one cache. Hey, let's all get together and figure this one out. Other times it's, general. Hey, come on, bring your puzzle problems and let's work them out together. And then, go ahead.
No, just I am verbally agreeing with you, Chris.
Oh, that's so nice.
I support you in this.
Limax says there's a group of folks that meet regularly to work on puzzles. I find that I haven't been able to make those, so I work on puzzles myself a lot of the time.
Aw.
And look at CRS 98. He's happy to help anyone with his puzzles. I want them to be found and will help walk anyone through the solution, multiple steps if needed.
Good for him. That's awesome. Way to go,
Yeah.
CRS 98.
Oh, Gary says we have an origami cache here where you use a YouTube trainer video and print a provided sheet of numbers that when folded correctly, you are guided to the final chord.
I like
Wow,
that.
that's taken the Mad Magazine trifold to a whole new level.
That's good.
That's cool. That sounds like fun.
And Komakino saying, just to prove that CRS 98 is correct, he has helped him with some of his caches before and explained them in a way that didn't make me feel bad for not knowing what to do.
CRS 98, it's great to hear that you don't use the word stupid when you're explaining how to solve your puzzle to people. Good for you.
It's so easy. A caveman could do it.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Why are you asking me this?
They want the GC code for that origami cache.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, share that. That's cool. Cool.
Now, sometimes
Mhm.
puzzles are just poorly designed.
What?
It happens. I'm going to be honest here. I've heard the term moon logic by a lot of cachers. The
I haven't
puzzle may
heard that
be
before.
No,
overcomplicated, or it may be illogical or simply to force the cacher into the mind of the CO to figure out what they were thinking.
I call
Before
those
you
what
can
was
solve
I
it.
thinking puzzles, but yeah.
Yeah. So what helps in that is have somebody beta test that puzzle for you. See if they can figure it out. And, if we had a reviewer on here, I believe every time you submit a puzzle cache, you have to submit not only the solution, thus the coordinates, but how you got to it. The steps to get to it. So it's not, impossibly difficult.
Right.
Yes, you have to come over to my house and I have a stack of 15 newspapers on my desk, and look, they spell out a word. If you read down them, there's no other way to find that.
There you go. Here's a new rule I bet you didn't know applied.
Oh, I did not.
Every time you submit a puzzle cache, you have to submit a beer to your reviewer.
Okay.
Funny.
And
Yes.
CRS 98 says nobody's stupid. You're just inexperienced in the things of don't know how to cache. I once heard it said, don't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree.
Indeed. There's a few comments about the online jigsaw puzzles. Gas Station Tuna just commented on it. They drive him crazy. Somebody, I can't remember where it was. Somebody much earlier commented about the one.
Please no multi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was that one?
I can't remember where that was.
It was early on. There was a series. It was a multi-cache mystery, right? So each stage was a puzzle, And at one stage, there was a physical puzzle in a box. You had to put the puzzle together to see the coordinates for the next stage.
There you go. That's the one from CRS98. No ridiculous high number count online jigsaw puzzle. And it's funny though. It's like everything else in this game. There's a wide variety of things that people like and enjoy. Mrs.
Yeah.
Monkey will sit there for hours solving the online jigsaw puzzles. She enjoys those. It's relaxing for her. I look at them and I go, yeah, no. So it's like math.
Dora Moore says, I've never failed at solving a puzzle. I've succeeded in finding ways that doesn't work.
Funny.
Limax prefers a jigsaw puzzle count of 1. Oh, okay. One more, and then we'll move on. J-Car says 100 to 200 pieces are fun. 500 pieces with similar color, not so much.
Yeah. All depends on the individual, right?
Yeah. And we've said it. It's been said several times in the chat, and say it again. If you get stuck, message the CO, message the cache owner, ask a past finder for a nudge in the right direction, and specify that you want a nudge, not the answer. Right? So there you go. There's some ideas on how to solve some of these puzzles. And now that, maybe the rain is coming, that might not be a bad thing to do, sit on a rainy day and figure out a puzzle or two.
There you go. Or connect with some friends.
Or hold an event. Go ahead and hold an event in the next month. Get those 75 points for attending an event.
There's the origami cache.
Just as we're wrapping up, there we go. Thank you, Gary. The origami cache is GC2CH65.
That's going to be
Charlie
fun.
Hotel 65.
Nice. And folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
Yeah, thanks.
Land Monkey would like to say, I'd like to take a moment to thank
there. Just give me a
Land
minute.
Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate
denali level sponsors. Hey, landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online, and remember, they're shipping those online orders daily. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. And folks, we want to thank all our faithful Denali level supporters. That would be Land Sharks, Gold Country Geotourism, but also Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, Cool Cow Cachers, and Cachly, the geocaching app. Folks, if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, well, why don't you click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website.
Oh, I thought maybe we lost Land Monkey there. He just stopped breathing. Somebody who clicked on that was just Carlo.
Yeah, and GeoNav Pro.
Also a clicker, Camp Clan.
The Flag Man.
RE54321.
Big clicks from Logwork.
And Peach of Washington.
MNerf.
Team Noltex clicks. Do you click?
Oh, how about Boy Mark?
How about in the chat tonight, geocaches submitted a glow.
Indeed. Alarobrick, which rhymes with click.
Seebeck Tribe.
Genies.
Skyhawker has clicked.
LG 9000, our favorite clicking appliance.
Indeed.
J-Car.
Your appliance is clicking. There may be other issues.
Right. J-Car's a clicker.
Indeed. Just finding our way. Click.
Boomer 365. That's more of a long press.
Yeah. You clicked that. No, you clicked. How about that?
Indeed. And if you're a spilly clicker, you'll need a wet coaster.
And we have Kev ClickMacD.
RAR 285.
GSM click 2.
Double click.
There you go.
GSM double click.
Yes.
Nice.
U-Talks to Rocks.
Green words.
CRS 98. I believe that stands for click right something.
Sometimes. Dora Moore, live in the chat.
Yeah. Limax as well.
Antaeus, not live in the chat, but has clicked at some point in the past.
Mhm.
Sege Hove, he's a clicker.
Kid Vegas 19.
BC Rock Clicker.
Mountain bike.
Trexer.
Gas Station Clicker.
B Pendragon.
Hacker Doc or Clicker Doc. How about
I
that?
was just going to ask if that was. There you go. Ooh, hey, I get to say a new one. I haven't said this one before. Recently clicked Nervous Energies. Thanks for joining the family.
Yeah.
Clickers fans for life. Or Broncos.
Winos Click Seattle.
MC3 clicks.
Korsgott. I couldn't figure out. Should I say Click Scott?
And Clicker Quest.
Oh, folks, thanks for taking the time and enduring with our silliness this evening. As you listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest, your support helps keep the quality shows coming. So if you like the show, please click on the Patreon link on the cashingnw.com website. If you didn't like the show, click there and let us know what you want us to talk about. In either case, please subscribe where you get your podcasts and give us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would click. If you were in a live audience, you would click. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. That involves clicking. You can call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or give us a solution to that mystery cache any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cashingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. The show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Copyright 2023 by Chris Umfenauer. Folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show. Just jumped right on top of it, didn't I?
You really
Sometimes I hit that just right. Other times I'm late. Other times I'm early. Look at this. Seebeck Tribe had her best month since 2017 with 151 finds. Today, I've found 161 finds in the month of August.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
That is fantastic.
Fantastic.
I've been at a couple of events with her. So I know I know at least 2 of those finds.
Very well done.
They're probably more.
Probably. Very cool. What else have we got?
Kitty Quest. Watched a snake climb 5 feet up a tree at GZ yesterday.
That's unusual.
That falls into that immediate no.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Was it climbing up to go get the cache?
Or defend the cache.
I forgot its pole to pull the cache down. There you go. Thanks, Brian. That's funny. That would have been a very interesting thing to watch.
Yeah.
I think that's all the tasks we have.
Yeah, not a lot of FATAS tonight, but that's okay. There was a lot of chat.
Yeah, it was really active.
We really appreciate that, everybody.
If you got a chance, go out and look at the moon. It's not 100% full. It's only 98% full tonight. But if you missed it last night, it's worth it. It's beautiful.
You got a clear sky.
If you've got a clear sky.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And until next week. Until next week. Yes, that's right. I've done this for 12 years. I still have some issues every now and again. Hey, this is a live show and I'm a live person. I make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, talk to me about becoming a host on the show.
Apparently there's going to be an opening.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.